we are live half an hour late. My name is Gareth. You're watching the Hub Online Network. We got a plethora of stuff to get through today. It's been a very busy weekend for me and the Han staff, but we're going to get to it after our animated logo. So first thing we want to talk about with today is with you, our loyal viewers. We want feedback. What we're looking for is to make the show as good for you at home as it is for us in the studio. So please, if you have anything that you would like us to know about how you feel about the show, email us at HON@ashcrofthub.com and we'll get our new staffer, Cedar, to go through all those emails and then tell us what your thoughts are. That's Matthias too. Hi, Matthias. Anyway, we do have a person of interest in the studio today. His name is Paul Cuthbert. Now, a little bit of backstory as to who Paul is. We have been working at the Desert Days virtual festival over the weekend. It is not live yet. We're going to be working on it over the next couple of weeks. But Paul has been the sound guy.
Hello.
So, Paul, tell us about your experience with the desert. It doesn't just have to be about this year, but tell us about your experiences in past years, how you came to be involved in Desert Days, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, it started with a phone call to Long McQuaid, and I've been doing a lot of consulting work and stuff out of Kamloops for Long McQuaid. And they said there's a festival, they're looking for somebody to run sound for them. So I said, sure, why not? Let's go check it out. So went and ran the gear and stuff that they had rented and thought it was a great time. So then I decided, okay, well, I'm going to bring all my gear now instead of renting it all. So I've been doing sound and lights for bands over the last 40 years all across Canada with different tours and all that kind of thing. For the last 11 years, I've been working for a company in Kamloops called Sideshow Productions, and we did all the big arena concert setups and that sort of thing for Kelowna, Kamloops, Prince George, Grand Prairie, and everything in between pretty much. I did a lot of work out in Chase at their band shell during their Cornstalk Festival and Canada Day, did that for 10 years. And then I decided, well, it's time for a change, so I'm out here in Spence's Bridge now and loving it. And then now we're doing this COVID video festival for our Desert Days, which this would have been my 5th year with Desert Days this year. So it's kind of a milestone still. We're doing the video thing, and that's been definitely interesting and some challenges from event to event. We've done 8 different performers now in 8 different locations. We got a day off today, that's why I'm able to do this here with you guys, and then we got another 2 to do tomorrow, so you've got to be on time.
I will be there with bells on. Not only will I be on time, I live by the motto, if you're not early, you're late.
That's right.
So, other than Jan, who gets there way early than everybody else.
But he's never late.
That's true. So, Paul,
Yeah.
and now Jessica has also been with us for the last couple of days at the Desert Days Virtual Festival. She's been a moderate help.
Oh, a lot of help.
I'm just kidding. Jessica has been great. Matthias has been there as well, giving us a hand. So thank you to Matthias and Jessica. Jessica, what do you feel has been one of the cooler things that you've seen, and maybe some challenges that you've personally had?
Well, challenges have been just unexpected things. The heat with the iPhones, almost overheating and trying to kind of accommodate that on the fly. The band set up yesterday morning, just waiting because they were a huge band, and so it took a lot longer, I think, than we all expected to get started. And just being able to be part of the audience with all of the different musicians. I love music, and so it was fun to be able to be part of that. And I was very glad that there was good weather both days. I did get a bit of a sunburn on Sunday.
Do you have a band that you thought was the best band?
I have to say that it's a tie between Jenny and the Gents and Better with Juice, because if I didn't say both of those bands, I probably wouldn't be allowed to leave this room. So.
Oh, is that because Matthias is part of Better with Juice and Jan, who is off camera in the room over there, is part of Jenny and the Gents?
No.
What about yourself, Paul? What has been sort of a funner thing out of all of this year?
Actually, all the setting up and taking down. Like, I'm a technician. This is new for me in front of a camera. I don't do this, so count yourselves lucky I'm doing this. Yeah, all the setups and teardowns, every show was different. We've had solo acts, 2-person acts, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people with the Better with Juice. It was great. It's all fun for me. My day job is I'm one of the assistant technical director at the Sagebrush Theatre before we shut down with the COVID thing. So I've been jonesing to get back to working again. So I was looking forward to this opportunity it was just a lot of fun. Like, when you're going to work and you're having fun, it's not work. Simple as that. So, yeah. Bands-wise, I liked Flat Busted. We just did them the other day at Vulture's Garage. It was the easiest. We had no glitches. It was fun. We had a little bit of an audience. That was great as well. Of course, the performers, like they call themselves amateurs, but they held themselves like professionals. Like, when everybody gets to see the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was a lot of fun. The whole thing was fun. We did the Malaman Collective down at the, I call it the Powwow Ground. Forgive me, but it's the, what's
The Arbor.
The Arbor, thank you, the Arbor. Cook's Ferry place. That's gorgeous. That was a great venue to set up there. I was really surprised by the act. I didn't know that it was a rap, and it just totally floored me. It blew me away.
And that one had a lot of different levels to it.
It did, yeah.
And I was most shocked by the guitar and the bass guy.
Yeah.
As being part of the band. Like, that was...
They looked a little out of place. But, Rob Hall on guitar, I've known his brother Mike for years, and I've known him sort of on and off associated. And the bass players, first time I met him, he was great. Everybody was great so far. There hasn't been any divas. Imagine that.
I have to say that the drummer from Jenny and the Gents,
He comes in as a
category
diva.
of the diva a little bit. He had to have 2 cameras on him when everybody else only had
Well,
one.
he also had a stage to himself.
And he did have a stage to himself.
So, yeah.
Higher up than everybody else.
What I found weird was he pulled me aside afterward and he said, when you make the title card, make sure it says Jan and the Jennies.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear that.
Now, I just want to confirm that Desert Days has gotten provincial grants. Yeah, so for people watching in Ontario, Desert Days is a civically run event because it gets grants from the government.
But it also brings in a lot of economic tourism into St. Spencer's Bridge. Spencer's Bridge is a community of 300 people, so the fact that they can bring in hundreds of people for a weekend and put them up and feed them is a feat unto itself. So it definitely boosts Spencer's Bridge on the world stage.
And we should probably give a shout out to, of course, Stephen Rice, Vorney Varco Ryan, Paul, Jan, who else am I forgetting here? Arn has been a big help coming in and helping out, moving some gear around. So thank you to everyone that's been involved. We're going to move on from Desert Days. So Paul, thank you very much for your time.
I appreciate it.
And we will see you tomorrow.
One thing I would like to add is the Desert Days Festival. Since I've been coming and joining the group here, I've actually sit on the board now as well. So I'm out helping to make decisions and stuff like that. I don't carry a lot of weight, but I put my word out there. It's been growing every year. So from the first year to the second year to the third to the fourth, and now this is the 5th, should have been that much better. And I'm still looking forward to getting even bigger for next year.
When are we actually looking at putting this up?
The
August.
Weekend of Desert Days, so the 7th and the 8th.
So for everybody at home, if you're looking forward to Desert Days, August 7th and 8th, we're not sure how we're putting it up yet at this moment in time, but look forward to that on those days.
Thank you.
Right on. Thank you very much, Paul, for coming in.
I appreciate you having me.
Cool. So now there's going to be an episode of CBC's The Twilight Zone, which is episode 2 of the season. It is called A Small Town, and it was filmed right here in Ashcroft. It will be screened on July 9th and 10th, that is this Thursday and Friday. Social distancing measures will be in place, so reserve your seats through the Hub online network. Now that is through, this is what's on the Ashcroft Hub Society page.
Does it say reserve your seat through the Hub online network?
That's what it says, so that's why I'm now
Are you sure?
I copy and pasted that verbatim.
Interesting. Okay, tickets are available at the Hub, Ashcroft Hub's website, or the ashcrofthub.perfectmind.com, or you can just call the office 453-9177 and reserve your tickets. They are free, but we do have to reserve them because we only have 49 people that are allowed in the gym at one time.
And Troy is going to put the link to that into the description of this video. Thank you very much, Troy, for all that you do, the man in the chair. Now, the Ashcroft Bakery says things are going well for us. Thank you for your support. So we will be extending our hours a bit more. So they are now open Tuesdays 9 to 4, Wednesday 9 to 4, Thursday 9 to 4, Friday 9 to 4, and Saturday 10 to 5. Ashcroft IDA has a promo that I would like to read. Again, thank you, Paul. Have yourself a good day, sir. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you.
They say that this is a promo that you can go in and get right now. You can get a free 150 milliliter hand sanitizer valued at $6.99 with every $35 purchase. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but every little bit of hand sanitizer helps, especially in the midst of COVID-19. So the limitations are 1 per person per day while supplies last, and this is excluding your prescription and lotto purchases. So, if you need hand sanitizer and you would like to get a free bottle because you have to buy a bunch of other stuff anyway, go to IDA, spend your money there. Hashtag not sponsored, but IDA. Now, in Cache Creek, now this is sort of the big story of the show here. Cache Creek is back on evacuation alert. There's lots of different places. So there's lots of flooding going on. And we're going to play a little video I did earlier today that Troy whipped up together for us in editing. So let's play that video now and then we'll talk a little bit. Thanks, Gareth. Yeah, so we're out here in the Cache Creek Park. Everything, as you can see, is pretty wet this time. It's flood season 2.0 in Cache Creek. All of the farms going that way are pretty flooded out. We're gonna go see if we can't talk to somebody at Horstein's here. But anyway, we have a few updates from the village of Cache Creek over the last couple of days. So yesterday's update was the weather forecast for the area is calling for more rain. And actually, that being said, you can see we got pretty gray sky going on, and we just came back here from Ashcroft and there are big gray clouds coming in. And the wind is blowing in the direction that those clouds would be coming to get Cache Creek. So anyway, they say the weather forecast for the area is calling for more rain in the next 2 days. While the water levels in the river are dropping slightly, the Emergency Operations Center, or the EOC, is leaving the evacuation orders and alerts in place until it is confident that the levels have dropped sufficiently to absorb the impact of any more rain. Residents who have been ordered to evacuate cannot return to their homes until the order has been lifted by the EOC. Residents who are under the alert may come and go. Approximately 160 other properties along the river are still on alert, including Sage and Santa's Mobile Home Park and several properties that are along the Bonaparte. The residents an alert puts residents on notice that they should pack valuables and make arrangements for transportation for any pets that they may have just in case. A stage 4 water restriction is in place for the entire town until further notice. One of the village's 2 wells has been shut down since Sunday morning because of high water in the park, and residents are asked to limit water usage to drinking, food preparation, and personal hygiene only. Do not water your lawns or wash your vehicles. The community park is closed until further notice because of high water. Stay out. Stay out of the park. Please exercise your common sense and refrain from walking, driving, or doing anything else in the water, because if further
damages the ground and the irrigation system, which taxpayers will eventually have to repair. The village continues to monitor water levels throughout the day and overnight to ensure the safety of our town and its residents. Please stay a minimum of 10 feet away from the river banks. Keep children and pets away from the river banks. Bank erosion is still a major hazard. Your weight could cause the banks to fall away from the river, and you with it. Stay back and be safe. Remember to maintain COVID-19 physical distancing rules and protocols. Keep your distance and wash your hands. Now, an interesting thing here is the farms right next to the park have lost their access into their own property. And so yesterday, several of the residents were landlocked until the village built this nice little berm here that I'm standing on that goes behind the actual park itself and goes into their property. I spoke with a gentleman yesterday that was, it was a pretty interesting story about what he has to say. Hopefully we can talk to him again in a more in-depth manner. Anyway, so that's what's going on at the park. There is one of the mobile home parks in Cache Creek that has been evacuated to my knowledge, and a couple other properties down behind the post office. We're going to get some shots of the bank erosions that have been going on. So that's what's happening in Cache Creek. With more rain on the way, this could get a little bit more dicey. The Cache Creek River itself has gone down, but now this is all from the Bonaparte River, and that is because of heavy rains hitting much further north and then coming down to us. So that's all the updates we have for today. If we have anything else, we will of course get to them at future installments, so please stay tuned to the Hub Online Network for anything else river and flood related. All right, so with all that being said, and thank you, Gareth, for everything that you've been doing, because in the video I throw to myself. Anyway, it's all due to flash flooding, and so we are on another local state of emergency. I did speak with Wendy Coomer, councilwoman and volunteer. She is not apparently CFJC said something about her position, and she's a volunteer. She's not doing this because she's on council, she's doing this as a volunteer. So thank you, Wendy, for all you're doing. She is in charge of the EOC, or the Emergency Center in Cache Creek, and they have been working tirelessly since the flooding has started. So we are officially under a local state of emergency, which includes an evacuation alert, and I'm just going to give this a quick perusal for you all. I do talk about it a little bit in that video, but I did have it here as well. There it is. I didn't read out this particular thing. It has a few extra instructions if you are being prepared to go on to an evacuation. But you would think Cache Creek would be all for it here. Anyway, an evacuation alert has been issued by the village of Cache Creek due to potential flooding. Because of the potential danger to life and health, the village of Cache Creek has issued an evacuation alert for all areas adjacent to the Bonaparte River or at risk of losing their only access route due to potential flooding of the Bonaparte River. This evacuation alert has been issued to prepare you to evacuate your premises or property should it be found necessary. Residents will be given as much advance notice as possible prior to evacuation. However, you may receive limited notice due to changing conditions. So what you should do is locate all family members and designate a meeting area outside of the evacuation area should an evacuation order be called while separated. Pack essential items such as government-issued ID, medication, eyeglasses, valuable papers such as insurance, credit, and mortgage information, immediate care needs for dependents, pets, and if time and space permits, keepsake for quick departure. Prepare to move disabled peoples, children, and/or neighbors if assistance is needed. Arrange transportation for all your household members. Fill the gas tanks of personal vehicles. If transportation assistance is needed, you can call 250-457-1094. Arrange accommodation for all members of the residence if possible, and wait for an evacuation order to be issued before evacuating. And of course, further information will be issued as needed when the situation changes. So if you're trying to keep up with this story, you can go on Facebook. go to the Info Cache Creek page, and they have daily updates that come out just after 4 o'clock, as well as anything that might pertain to evacuations and that kind of stuff. Don't forget, there's also a stage 4 water restriction. I do again talk about that in the video, just a reminder. So there's also flooding that is further north of Cache Creek. That's why Cache Creek is flooding heavily itself. And Ashcroft actually has a little bit of flooding, not in town or anything, but the water has come up quite significantly. I don't know if you've noticed along the, it's not on the railroad tracks, but that gazebo is gone. You know what I'm talking about?
Where?
If you're coming down through Ashcroft Indian Band and you come into Ashcroft that way, all of that
I
that
didn't
beach is
notice
gone
that.
and the trees are underwater.
I do walk down Evans Road
Yeah.
in the mornings, and late last week, I walked all the way down to where the Bonaparte comes in, and there's usually a beach there, kind of at the crux of that. There's no beach. The water is all the way up to the edge. It's definitely as high as I can remember seeing it, the Thompson.
Right.
So I do have pictures actually that I took of the same spot in March, and then from last week, they're in 2 different locations. I should get them into the same location so we can actually compare the 2 pictures.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. Sorry, one sec here. My wife just sent me the new update. So let me just thank you, Amelia, for sending this. So 3 years ago, we were watching the Elephant Hill wildfire devour the hillsides and trees in our valley. Today we're watching the river and the skies around us that are, sorry, I gotta make this just a little bit bigger because my eyes suck.
I don't know why we get you to be the one to read all the information.
Matthias, put the camera on you, and can you just whistle a little tune for a second? Okay. 3 years ago, we were watching the Elephant Hill wildfire devour our hillsides and trees in our valley. Today, we're watching the river and the skies around us that are adding moisture to an already overburdened river system. Environment Canada has told us that we should expect more rain and thunder showers until early next week. The evacuation orders and alerts in place until the village is confident that the levels have dropped sufficiently to absorb the impact of any more rain. Residents who have been ordered to evacuate cannot return to their homes until the order has been lifted. Residents who are under the alert may come and go, but are on notice that they should pack valuables and make arrangements for transportation and pets if they have any, just in case. We just talked about that. The village continues to monitor water levels throughout the day and overnight to ensure the safety of the town and its residents. The stage 4 water restriction is in place for the entire town until further notice. The community park is closed until further notice, and please stay a minimum of 10 feet away from the river banks. Keep children and pets away from the river banks. Bank erosion is still a major hazard. Your weight could cause the banks to fall away into the river. So that is the most recent update. And again, thank you to the Village of Cache Creek for making these things available every day. You guys are kicking butt. Okay, so let's get to meet our newest guy here. His name is Cedar. Hi. So Cedar, tell us about yourself. Tell the viewers why you decided to join the Hub Online Network.
Well, I moved to Bonaparte recently, and I haven't been doing very much website. Audio feed is not coming through. For some reason.
Well,
Sorry.
let's try that again.
Okay, so I moved to Bonaparte recently, but not too recently. And since I've been here in Bonaparte, I haven't been doing a lot, so I decided that I would get a job
Awesome.
or something to do.
What has it been like? So, of course, COVID's been the big thing that's been going on in the world recently. What's it been like for yourself since the middle of March?
Kind of boring, personally.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've not been doing a lot. Mostly just staying home.
Do you play video games, read books, watch movies?
I've been watching a lot of movies and TV shows.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to getting to know Cedar a little bit more, and we're going to make it a mandate that he's in the show often.
We all have to be in the show.
Anyway, we'll keep going. Thank you very much for that, Cedar, and we look forward to having you all the time. We'll have Cedar's Corner. We'll make it a thing.
Okay.
Okay. So, Interior Health says, when it's hot outside, it can be easy to become dehydrated or suffer from a heat-related illness. And so we have a few tips and tricks from Interior Health to try and help you take care of anything to beat the heat. So, how you can do this is make sure that you can determine what a heat-related illness is. So when it's hot outside, it can be easy to become dehydrated or suffer from heat-related illnesses, such as dehydration, heat-related illness, heat rash, sunstroke, ultraviolet radiation. Oh my goodness. So heat stroke is a life-threatening medical emergency. So you must call 911 or other emergency medical services as soon as you can if you suspect that you see the signs of heat stroke. There's places to keep cool. So when it's too hot outside, many public places and municipal buildings can offer you a chance to cool down. Local community centers, malls, pools, and libraries usually have air conditioning areas open to the public. Now, what's interesting about this particular thing is that COVID's happening, and it's asking you pretty much to go into all of these places.
That aren't open.
Right. What are the new rules? I was listening to Vicky talking to somebody. What are the new rules about the pool? Do you know?
So within the pool, there's no new rules. They are asking you to stay physically distant if you're able to. The only difference is coming into the pool. So they would like you to be pool ready when you arrive. So shower before you get there, have your bathing suit on already. And they actually have two different entrances. So you can go directly into the pool and through that do not enter door if you're all ready to go. Otherwise, through the change room kind of as quickly as possible. They've closed the lockers down because there's not enough. They could only have one locker available within that 6 feet guideline.
Right.
And they'll have, I believe they've got markers on the pool deck for lining up for the slide and the board. And they removed all of the seating so that nobody can hang out on the pool deck.
Fair enough. So, if you have or suspect somebody has heat stroke, make sure that you, A, get some water into them right away, get them into a cool place, and or call 911. Heat stroke is not fun. I've had it once or twice in my life.
Heat stroke or just heat exhaustion? Like heat, because there's a secondary one.
I want to sound tough, so I want to say heat stroke.
I survived the heat stroke of 2020.
Yeah, I want to say that. Yeah, she's got it. But heat stroke is not funny, so don't.
No, it's not.
Don't take it lightly.
It's not fun for sure.
So now, what do we got here? So the government so let's talk COVID for a minute. Now I personally haven't seen. Troy, can you look up and see if there's a new statement from today for COVID-19 numbers? But as of yesterday, there was 31 new cases. Now keeping that in mind, that's from Saturday, Sunday, and Monday numbers. So 31 cases over the weekend. That brings our provincial numbers up to just shy of 3,000. So we're sitting at 2,978. There are no new outbreaks. And it doesn't say here if there's any new deaths, but I don't think there has been for a couple of days.
Do you have the number for the interior?
That number hasn't changed. But there has been,
It's still 201? Or did it change?
As far as I know, it's 201.
Did it go down?
No, the numbers don't go down.
They
So the way
has to.
the way that it works is, there have been 201 cases.
But there was there was a false positive in the Lowette. Therefore, it's not it should decrease the number in the interior.
I didn't notice that in the
Numbers? We need to fix that
in
door.
the thing. So
Okay.
you know what, Troy, look that up too. See if our interior number has gone down.
It should be 200, not 201.
The government also says that you can join our telephone town hall focusing on the Lower Mainland. That has nothing to do with us. I'm sorry I put that in there. Jackie Taggart says, I am so grateful for the work that healthcare workers are doing during the pandemic. It is of the utmost importance that we support them, and here are some great resources for healthcare workers, such as taking care of your mental health and psychological well-being, so supporting the psychological well-being of healthcare providers. This guidance is not intended to be prescriptive or exhaustive, but is based on the premise that there are differences across health authorities in terms of access to and availability of some resources. So some main services that you can get are mental health support services such as care for caregivers and 24/7 phone line for healthcare workers. So this is different from just anybody. You have to specifically be a person that works in a hospital, a doctor, all that kind of thing, to call this specific number. So that's very nice. You're not sitting online for 4 hours with 811.
I can also imagine that the stress of a healthcare worker right now is much different than the stress of a non-healthcare worker.
Right?
I mean, what they're going through and what they're dealing with and how they're even having to go to work now differently would create a much different stress.
There is a new line on personal protective equipment. So the continuous, extended, and repetitive use of PPE, including masks, gloves, and safety glasses, goggles may cause adverse skin reactions. So there's a link here where you can learn how to prevent and manage PPE-related skin damage. Now, when I was down at the coast a few months ago, I was listening to a radio station, and they were talking about maskne. So you wear a mask all the time, you're breathing, and it just gives you, I guess, acne just around where the mask
Fills
is.
your pores.
You can only imagine if my goatee was maskne instead of the goatee. That would not be.
I've also heard the behind the ear just becomes raw from the mask, and so I actually have seen where people have made kind of additions to the mask, so you can wear it around a ponytail instead, so that it's not on your ear. Or over a headband, so it attaches to the headband as opposed to on your ear. Because, I mean, the elastic on those masks are tiny, and just having to wear it for 12 hours a day without being allowed to take it off, I can imagine it would just rub and blister. So.
Anyway, that's just a couple of things that are out there for healthcare-related workers specifically. So thank you, Jackie Taggart, for sharing that. That is on her Facebook page. Next up, we got Brad. Nope, next up you know what, let's talk about Brad Viss's thing here. Where is it? Where is Brad Viss? Aha, here it is. Okay, so Brad Viss put out a statement saying, Conservatives are calling on the government to 1. Implement the back to work bonus so workers can earn higher wages as businesses reopen. 2. Fully fund the Auditor General so she can follow the money. And 3. Publish the size of the debt and deficit. So there's a little bit of a letter here. So it says, to Ottawa, Conservative Shadow Minister for Finance Pierre Poilievre and Shadow Minister for Small Businesses James Cummings said today that they called on the Trudeau government to use this week's economic snapshot to change the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, or the CERB, so workers can earn higher wages to fully fund the Auditor General. Currently, the government kicks workers off the CERB as soon as they earn more than $1,000 a month, effectively banning many people from gradually returning to work. Conservatives believe it should always pay to work. That is why we have proposed the back to work bonus, a gradually phased out CERB top up for workers who make between $1,000 and $5,000. As businesses reopen under our plan, Canadians who lost their jobs through no fault of their own during the pandemic and who currently receive the CERB will continue to receive their full $2,000. The government has also thus far refused to tell Canadians the size and the deficit and the debt and the government has also thus far refused to tell Canadians the size of the deficit and debt and have left no fiscal anchors in place. Furthermore, current and past Auditor Generals have said their office is underfunded by more than $11 million a year, preventing much needed scrutiny of hundreds of billions of dollars in new government spending. Conservatives are calling on the government to implement the back to work bonus so workers can earn more wages as businesses reopen, fully fund the Auditor General, and publish the size of the debt and deficit. Now, reading that, what's interesting there is the bit about the did we get that on camera?
No.
So for those of you that are wondering what just happened, Matthias gracefully almost fell through the wall as he was trying to fix something. What were you doing, bro?
Phone was low battery, had to get rid of the notification, so I could have asked Cedar here to do it, but
Should we plug it in then?
I decided that, that would be the, it'll make
We're almost done. We're almost done. It's okay.
It's Monday for most of us, so we're having a really good.
Monday?
Actually, I think it's Wednesday the 3rd, isn't it? For some of us?
I think I've been working for 2 weeks straight.
I have no idea what
So-
day it is.
Did you get a thing from me right now?
Did I get a thing from you on my phone?
I sent it to Garrett Monster.
Oh. Hang on one sec. I have something from Troy. So the interesting thing to me about this is the part where they say, and I'm just going to read this again, Conservatives believe it should always pay to work. That is why we propose the back to work bonus, a gradual phased out CERB top up for workers who make between $1,000 and $5,000 as businesses reopen. So if they're talking about, so if a person makes $2,000, but they should be making $5,000 because their previous job paid them $5,000, the government will give them another $2,000?
It sounds like it's going to kind of be, as you're making more money at work, we're going to decrease the amount of money that we're going to give you until you're back to making whatever it was you're making pre-COVID. I don't know what they just want that.
We'll have to
The
look into that a little bit more.
The exact numbers don't seem to
because
be there,
it's-
but that's what it sounds like, is we're going to continue to slowly support you, because most people aren't necessarily going to be able to go back to work full-time right away. Most businesses aren't jumping straight back
Right.
to full-on business. I mean, take the bakery, for example. They were open right away full-time, and then they realized that wasn't feasible, so they closed down. As their business slowly has expanded now, or slowly their customer base has expanded, they have been able to open up more. So just because I'm able to go back to work doesn't mean I'm going to be back to work at what I was working at pre-COVID.
Right, but there should be a limit, and it shouldn't be like if person A gets, the CERB 2,000, and person B has a job that happens to pay them 2,000, then they shouldn't get the CERB. They shouldn't get their 2,000, and then the CERB says, okay, because you made 5,000 previously, we're going to give you another, so you're making 4,000. That doesn't seem fair to the people that are only.
I don't know. I think
So we'll have
it's
to
one
look
of those
into it. We'll have to look
things
into
that
it.
they're asking for, but who knows if it's going to happen or not.
Yeah. So we have a thing here from Troy that says, today we're announcing, so this is today's joint statement. Today we're announcing 12 new cases, including one linked case for a total of 2,990 cases. It's been, I'm tired. Okay, so let's see here. Let's look for 203 in interior health
Oh,
as of now. So we don't know whether the number went down
and then
with the false positive or if it's now gone up by
4, 3.
2. we don't know if it's 2 or 3 new ones. But so it's 12, 12 new cases, and it doesn't, what does it say if there's any new deaths?
It would have been right at the top with the new cases usually.
Public health, okay, so today we're announcing 12 new cases, including one Ebola-linked case for a total of 2,990 cases in British Columbia. Epi-linked means that public health investigations have shown that cases meet the cases definition for COVID-19, but may not have been tested for a number of reasons. In future reports, new tested and epi-linked cases will be included as one number. There are 162 cases in the province, active cases, so this is where I got confused with what you were saying. There's 162 active cases in the province, and 2,645 people who have tested positive have recovered. So congratulations to them. 16 individuals are hospitalized. Since the start of the pandemic, there have been 1,013 cases of COVID in the Vancouver. There have been no, I'm not seeing it.
It's interesting that the interior, we had no new cases for quite a long time, and now we're back to having new cases again. People are traveling.
People are traveling.
Also, Garrett, they posted just recently here, the BC government formally extended the provincial state of emergency to July 21st.
Yes, so the province has extended their state of emergency to July 21st. Thank you, Troy, for passing that along to us. But let's get back on track here. Where am I? So thanks, Brad Viss, for sharing all that good stuff on your social media. If you'd like to follow Brad or Jackie, you can go on their Twitter, their Facebook, or their Instagram accounts. Now, some interesting stories from around Canada as a whole. Now, this one came out over the weekend, and this is about the We charity. So Justin Trudeau faces ethics probe over the government's We charity contract. The Prime Minister's office would not say Friday whether Justin Trudeau recused himself from a cabinet decision awarding a multi-million-dollar contract to a charity with close ties to his family, a question that is now at the heart of an investigation by Canada's ethics watchdog Mario Dion. The Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner confirmed Friday he has accepted a complaint by Tory MP Michael Barrett and will look into concerns alleging Trudeau broke the Conflict of Interest Act when the government awarded We Charity a sole-sourced contract that did not follow the normal contracting process. The announcement comes at hours after Trudeau and the We Charity announced they were ending their partnership. So the reason I'm talking about this one is the hub wanted to be a center for this particular.
So what the fund was is the university student volunteer summer jobs thing. So that was the earning up to $5,000 to volunteer if you're not able to find work or on top of work potentially. So the hub has registered to be one of the volunteer opportunities for youth.
Right. So that's how it links to us here in Ashcroft. I haven't heard anything new beyond this. There hasn't been a decision made. This is the second or third time that the Prime Minister has been in the ethics group for various things over the years. But if you find this one interesting, you can let us know at HO1@ashcrofthub.com, and we would love to hear what you have to say about that. And lastly, to end out our thing here, is a story from around the world, and this is a story from Global News. Two little stories. This one's from Global News. This is interesting, little quick thing. A suspected meteor exploded in the sky over Tokyo, Japan early on July 2nd, generating a spectacular fireball that excited locals and sky watchers at the International Meteor Organization, or IMO. The object cut a bright streak across the night sky at around 2:30 a.m. in Tokyo, according to reports. The IMO says the extraterrestrial object was likely a child-sized 1.5 meter piece of space rock that caught fire in the Earth's atmosphere.
Are we sure it wasn't Troy practicing his After Effects?
No, I don't think so.
That's
ha-
pretty cool.
He would have to be up at 2:30 in the morning.
No, that's Japan time.
Oh. So that is an interesting one. Then there's kind of we should just something to keep in mind. China warned its citizens to exercise caution in traveling to Canada. So China warned its citizens on Monday to exercise caution in traveling to Canada, citing frequent violent actions by law enforcement amid ongoing tensions between Beijing and Ottawa. The warning published by the Chinese embassy on the WeChat messaging app platform said Chinese citizens should pay close attention to the local security situation. It did not give specific examples on the violent actions. In a news conference today, a spokesman for China's foreign ministry said Canada had seriously violated international law and basic norms governing international relations and grossly interfered in China's internal affairs. Zhao Lijian said Hong Kong's affairs are internal Chinese business and other countries have no right to get involved, and China reserves the right to further react. Canada has had a relationship with Hong Kong for centuries, he said, including defending it from Japanese attack in the Second World War. Quote, we had a stake here and we have interests. We have many Canadians of Hong Kong origin, we're not meddling in anyone else's business. We're talking about our business, our relationships, which are important to us, and we shouldn't shy away from expressing those thoughts. So that is what's going on between Canada and China right now. Beyond that, there's always more going on. But we're going to end it there today. So thank everyone so much for watching. Again, if you're watching this on Facebook, we have made the move to YouTube, at least for the short term. We're going to see how this goes for the next month or two. So we're going to link over to Facebook, but make sure if you want to watch us live, you come over to YouTube, 3 o'clock, Tuesdays and Fridays. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Cedar. Thank you, Troy. Paul, if you're watching, thank you. Thank Jan. Thank me. Have yourself a good day. Oh, one last thing. Give me a name.
Me again? Tova White.
Tova White. If you're watching, we hope you're doing well.